the 1-yard line, 3rd and goal. Plunkett can run it in. Jim Plunkett did not have to throw. There just wasn't anyone in that area, and he quickly moves into the end zone. Of course, Plunkett early in his career and also at Stanford, an outstanding rushing quarterback.
Oh, look at that smile. Look at that smile. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think the quarterback role is the toughest short yardage play in football. And anytime the quarterback comes out there, you've got to respect his ability to pass. Look, he ran right over the defensive back. All right, Jim, hey.
So that's 3 1-yard touchdowns for the Raiders today. Allen, Hawkins, and now Plunkett. And now the snap missed by Barr in the emergency play into the end zone and intercepted by Bo Eason. So the Raiders have not been able to execute the extra point well. They've made only 1 of 3, and the score is 19-7.
This is the kind of thing you rehearse often in practice. People know what they're supposed to do. You see Mark Wilson going out for a pass there. Others will be blocking. But it just doesn't quite work as it did on paper.
There's Marcus Allen when we need him. 19-7 the score. Only 5 plays to go the short distance, 36 yards. Plunkett a 1-yard roll. No extra point, bad snap. It's 19-7 Raiders as Barr will kick it off. Roaches and Brown deep. Right down the middle it goes to Brown at the 3. No, it is not Brown. Patrick Allen gets a turn, and he's out across the 25-yard line to the 26. Patrick Allen, a 4th-round draft pick from Utah State on the return.
All right, Nagy in there. Jim Plunkett on the sideline watching that last play, looking at a new quarterback on the field, Chris Barr. You say, hey, I got enough competition at quarterback already. Oh, well, Chris wasn't able to do too well. And, of course, one of the reasons for that problem, Dave Dalby, usually the center on those plays, with the injury, not in there to snap the ball.
And Romano's snap was high, but the Raiders, Super Bowl champs, have now extended their lead. I'd like to welcome those viewers that have just joined us. The Los Angeles Raiders leading the Oilers here in Houston 19-7. We invite you to stay with us. The special edition Summer Sunday USA Iacocca, an American profile, will be seen immediately following the conclusion of football coverage over many of these stations. So please stay with us, except for those of you in the Mountain Pacific time zone stations. You'll be able to see that Summer Sunday USA special at its regular time. Well, there's somebody special on the sidelines for the Los Angeles Raiders, Marcus Allen. 19-7 the score, and the Oilers with 10:44 for such a low-scoring game, a very long game in terms of consumption of time. Willie Joyner in the ball game for the first time at running back behind Moon. Look at the Raiders, they're coming with all their guns, and there's the fumble. Who's got it? The Oilers recovered. Joyner able to fall on the loose ball.
Feeling the pressure, and Bruce Matthews, the center, has not been a center very long. I think sensing the blitz and maybe trying to get that ball back a little too quickly upset the tempo. Perhaps Moon anticipating the blitz, wanting to get out there. It's a tough job. It's tough to move from guard to center. That's not an easy thing to do.
Hugh Campbell, his team has just not been able to move the football here in the second half. We welcome those of you who have seen the New York Jets spoil the debut of the Colts in Indianapolis, 23-14 that final. Here it's 19-7, the Raiders leading the Houston Oilers. Willie Joyner. And the rookie back from Maryland is out to the 27-yard line. Bring up about 3rd down and 8. The key to this second half, the scoring drives of the Raiders. Look at the field position they've had. Only 28 yards to score to make it 7-6. 47 yards to go ahead 13-7. And finally a 36-yard drive to lead 19-7. They missed a couple of extra points, but the Oilers have been pinned deep, and the Raiders have gotten excellent field position on every possession.
Well, and the shift in the momentum after the halftime, really significant on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Out of the shotgun, Moon. Play by Lester Hayes. He made it very difficult for Holston, and Hayes grabbing at that left ankle.
I I think he's just tired. It is humid. Even though we're indoors, it is extremely humid and quite hot. Actually, we're fortunate. It was much hotter yesterday. And they have selected to go head-to-head with Hayes. They've left Mike Haynes alone. They have tested Hayes. He has been able to come up with big plays, but has been, well, it's been touch and go. You know, he has often left enough room for a ball to drop in there. They haven't caught many on him during the day, however.
John James, who has become the second punter in NFL history to kick more than 1,000 times in that role. And fumble by Kirk. And who has it? The Raiders able to fall on it as James Davis, 45, back there to block, was able to outfight the onrushing white shirts. And the Raiders will begin at the 25-yard line after a 48-yard punt. Well, it's football today, but Friday night, the Cubs and the Mets crash head-on. Here's a baseball preview. Our colleagues Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy had a good one out at Mile High Stadium. Denver Broncos winning 20-17. Gary Kubiak off the bench for the injured John Elway to Clarence Kay for the winning score in the fourth quarter. Here in Houston at the Astrodome, the Los Angeles Raiders, trailing 7-0 at the half, have scored 3 touchdowns, missed a couple of extra points, and are in command 19-7.
And in the trenches, and that was the defensive line you saw there, Earl Leggett among them. Their coach, they've been working very hard controlling the trenches in the second half.
Welcome those of you who have just seen the Denver Broncos rally in the fourth quarter to beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-17 here in the Astrodome. The Los Angeles Raiders totally shutting down the Houston offense in the second half. And meanwhile, they've mustered 3 scoring drives, all from inside the 50-yard line, and lead 19-7. Lyle Alzado, Yankton graduate, Brooklyn, New York. Once got in the ring with Muhammad Ali. Not afraid to take his licks nor deliver them.
No, he's not. And he's certainly played with emotion in this game, but Earl Leggett, defensive line coach, has chosen to spend a lot of time with his younger players in this ball game. And again, attesting to the length of this game and the emotional level of this game. Both teams feeling the effects of that. The younger team, the shallower team, feeling a great deal more pressure in the way of that.
Rookie Sean Jones and the Raiders really like this young man, another of the big, young, fast defensive linemen on the Raider roster. They are very deep. Just under 9 minutes left, 19-7 the score. Plunkett dumping it off to Marcus Allen, and he's tackled at the 26-yard line. Brian Socha, 72, trying to steal the ball, but the whistle had sounded.
Number 72, Don Mosbar, out there to try and convoy and do some blocking for Allen.
Come on out.
Brings up second down for the Raiders at the 26-yard line as they got back the 5 yards that they had just been penalized. Now that gives you an idea of what's happened in the game. Oilers outgained the Raiders 20 yards in the first half, but it's 46 yards total offense in the second half. Raider defense has been outstanding. Out of the backfield, Marcus Allen knocked out of bounds at the 42 with a first down. And Allen, who is such a major contributor to this offense, running the football, a great pass receiver. He's throwing the ball very well today. Picked up a key penalty on an interference, and a touchdown was dropped by Doki Williams that Allen had fired perfectly into the end zone.
Just a little fly pattern to the outside. Allen swinging out, and this is where he's so dangerous. One-on-one on the linebacker, and that's John Grimsley. And Grimsley doing a marvelous job of one-handing Allen. Gets a hold of that jersey. Otherwise, he'd had a much bigger game.
5 catches for Allen today for 38 yards plus 80 yards rushing. Frank Hawkins, he has a touchdown today. He's into Oiler territory and a first down at the 47. Darrell Meadows, a rookie from Toledo last year, a special teams player, made the tackle.
Hugh Campbell's observation before the game. The strength of an offense is directly equated to the number of offensive weapons they have. And certainly in the case of the Raiders, that's a formidable arsenal, from Plunkett to to Marcus, to King and Hawkins, and that big offensive line, and Branch and Barnwell and Todd Christensen. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And what do you choose to defend against? You do one thing, they do something else.
First down, Raiders trying to add to their 19-7 lead. Plunkett going deep. And incomplete for Dokie Walker. And Merlin, the depth. How many teams could boast? Now, these are the non-starters in the offensive line. Jim Romano, Kurt Marsh, Mickey Marvin, a starter in the Super Bowl, Shelby Jordan. I mean, you could build a pretty good club around that offensive line.
You certainly could. And you also saw a little bit of a little flash of the kind of speed that they can send off the bench as Dokie Williams goes into the game, and zip, he's open downfield. They didn't get it to him, but that's several times today that he's been several yards out in front of people and has had a chance to take one in for a touchdown.
The ex-Stanford star, Heisman winner, most valuable player in the Super Bowl 15, Jim Plunkett. They anticipate a blitz, they don't get it. Plunkett gets nailed by Jesse Baker at the 48-yard line. Baker's second sack today. Well, the Oilers fooled the Raiders as Plunkett thought the blitz was coming.
Well, that's one thing you can do out of this very aggressive defensive set is you can fake an offense. You can sucker them into believing you're coming. You get everybody up there, you get them dancing up there, and then drop them off into coverage. And they did a good job. This is the defensive scheme that they used in Atlanta. And in 1977, when Jerry Glanville went there, they became the #1 team on defense in the NFL that season. And he feels that talent here is comparable to the people he had there.
6:40 left in the game. 19-7. This is a third down call. 3rd and 15. Up on top to Williams. And he's to the 5-yard line. Dokie Williams as he beats Willie Tullis.
And you see Dokie saying, hey, grab me before I caught the ball. Indeed, if he had not caught the football, I think we'd have seen the flag on that one. You'll have a chance to see that for yourself. One-on-one on Willie Tullis. The Oilers trying to go head-to-head, much as the Raiders do on defense. And there you see 2 bumps. Should have had an official's call on that, even though he caught the pass.
Dokie Williams at UCLA. He was better known for his track exploits, a 9.4 sprinter, nearly a 26-foot long jumper, over 55 feet in the triple jump. He's used sparingly by Terry Donahue as a senior. He caught only 8 balls, 4 of those for touchdowns. And the Raiders picked him off in the 5th round. And he, like a second coming of Cliff Branch. Marcus Allen buying a yard or 2 as the Raiders just a few yards away from sewing up their initial game as defenders of that Super Bowl title.
This would indeed be the longest drive of the day for either team. You talked about the short drives for the Raiders. The Oilers' scoring drive was only 32 yards in the first half, so this would be the first legitimate long scoring drive of the afternoon.
The Oilers score after a fumble recovery at the 32 by Brazil, and then Moon threw 10 yards to Mike Holston for Houston's only score. 2nd and goal. Plunkett. Slam, and Plunkett lucky to get up in one piece.
It's nice to see players like Stensrud, who had trouble holding his weight down, I think really motivated by Hugh Campbell and this new staff. He's got his weight down about to 280, which is small for him, and is playing excellent football.
Yeah, when he was over 300 pounds, they nicknamed him number 67 Crosstown Bus. Get the 67.
Mongo. Well, that's got to play you remember from a game like this.
Quite an interesting guy. Collects old cash registers and says he has over 350 straight edge razors. I'm just a collector. And he likes those sacks as well.
Collected a quarterback on that one. He'd like a few more.
3rd and goal. Plunkett, Christensen. And it's interesting how many times today, for those who have joined us late, that must be 4 or 5 times, Christensen has had one go just off his fingertips.
Well, and I think that's something you'll see less and less of as the weeks go on. Good chance for you to watch at close range as Christensen will have that ball right there. And again, I have to wonder, at the timing between the two of them, and that's what suffers most. You know, if you're a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, you come back, you work on your own skills. But if you're a pass receiver, it's hard to work on the receiving because you don't have that quarterback there with you to throw you the football.
28-yard try by Chris Barr. If he kicks it, that will give the Raiders more than a 2-touchdown lead, and they've got it. He had missed from 40 yards. He had hit the upright with an extra point try and miss, and then a bad snap accounting for the other failure. But now the Raiders have a 15-point lead, 22-7, and time running out in Houston. It's the older of the Barr boys from Penn State. Younger sister, an outstanding athlete as well, a gymnast with the Nittany Lions. He has to feel better.
He's smiling now. He won't go to sleep tonight thinking it was my fault.
For a while, the missed extra point that made it 7-6 appeared to be a very big play. Back comes Patrick Allen. Good coverage by the Raiders as Allen cannot make it to the 20-yard line. Warren Moon and the Houston offense on the field, and Moon has felt those uprights at his back all day long. You see some of the Houstonians are going home for dinner early. 22-7. So let's give you folks at home a chance to play a little NFL trivia. Who holds the career scoring marks for the Oilers and the Raiders? Think about it. They're both 25 years old. This is the anniversary year. Who's the leading scorer for these two teams in their history? Can give you a quiet. No, it's not Sam Leader.
A quiet hint. 25 is an important number in the answer as well.
Oh, see, now you're almost giving it away.
Oh no, I haven't.
Warren Moon like to get something going here. And oh, look who's almost invited to the party. Lester Hayes looking for a touchdown. He had read it well, and geez, hands, how can you deceive me? Of course, he's a Houston native and would love very much to do something special here in the Dome today.
Lester's feeling a lot better. He's strutting a little bit. Would love to have had a little stickum. He's had trouble hanging onto the football, and I wonder how much of confidence is in the mind. You know, Lester's an incredible athlete, but when he had the stickum on his hands, he could catch just about everything. They took it away from him. He's had trouble hanging on to some of those passes he should have caught.
2nd down and 10 for Moon. Dressel in motion. Showing his strength to stay on his feet, and then he throws it incomplete. A flag down. They're going to call him for intentionally grounding the ball, or maybe a penalty against the Raiders for a late hit.
We've got a Raider on the field, Dick.
93, Greg Townsend, the defensive end from Texas Christian University, second-year man.
Official right on top of that play, feeling that Moon had deliberately grounded that ball to avoid the sack, and indeed he did. He just didn't do a good enough job of acting, and that, again, going back to something that Hugh Campbell said and asking him what's the worst thing that can happen to you today, he said we don't want the injuries. And of course, there's an injury that would certainly hurt this defense for the Raiders.
You saw Heberling, the referee, indicate with that last signal also loss of down. It's 22-7 here. Pettit race still very hot here in early September. Greg Townsend is okay. I think he was involved in that collision with Moon. Surprisingly, Moon stayed on his feet, and then rolling out and picked up the penalty for grounding the ball and loss of down. So the Oilers inside the 5-yard line, and Moon in his own end zone in the shotgun.
He's been looking at that big expanse of green all afternoon.
Second half statistics are really negative for the Oilers. He drills that one to Tim Smith, who caught 83 last year, and another penalty. Flag is down.
If that penalty is called in the end zone, well, let's give the officials a chance to.
Well, what you're about to say, if it's against the Oilers in the end zone for holding, that's a safety.
That's right, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Safety, 2 more points for the Raiders, and the Oilers will have to kick it from the 20-yard line.
The penalty for being caught holding in this case. Quick glance at it as you look at Bruce Matthews right in the middle of your screen there, out on the outside. You're coming in from the inside now. Well, official right there, yes, looking right at Bruce Matthews, and through the, that's Wells, who was dusted earlier in this ball game. He's still hanging in there.
David Carter, 58, was also in on the pinch of the Raider defender. 24-7 the score now reads. So that kind of cleans up the score, doesn't it, after those two missed extra points.
Yes. Yeah, that's a score we've seen many times, but not arrived at by the ordinary 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
The Oilers had the second fewest penalties called against them in the American Conference last year, only 84. Of course, Miami perennially the leader in that regard, but not today. 10 penalties, 120 yards, a safety. Reflects the youth of this Houston team, but there's some good things too, and Hugh Campbell will emphasize those. But the second half, it's been a shutdown operation by the Raider defense. They came in and bought the lot and the house and the barn, the whole works. Campbell has not been able to see any offense generated.
That's a turnaround. In the last 2 weeks, their opponents had come from behind in preseason to win.
James with the free kick from the 20. Clee Montgomery and Greg Pruitt are back at the 30. Clee Montgomery at the Raider 26, the 35, 45, and the younger brother of Wilbert Montgomery, who certainly has contributed to a lot of outstanding seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, is in Oiler territory at the 49. Well, we've had a chance to think about the question. Individual scoring leader, all-time Oilers and the Raiders. Well, by George, we have the answer.
Oh, you looked it up.
And there he is, George Blanda, for both teams with the Oilers, 596 and 863 points with the Raiders. The Hall of Famer, George Blanda, quarterback and kicker. How many times did he rally, especially the Raiders, in the late going?
Ooh, ball on the ground.
Hawkins picks it up. And in fact, just to carry that farther back, I think you were hitting the 25, because 25 years ago, Blanda, in the very first game played, these two teams in the opener, was Blanda quarterbacking the Oilers.
And I believe he played 25 seasons, Dick. So that number 25 playing into that in 2 different cases. You look at that jaw and that rugged face, certainly he left a lot of pleasant memories for fans here in Houston as well as in Oakland.
Because of the length of the game, our schedule tonight will be running a little late, but we hope you'll stay tuned. Special edition, Lee Iacocca. What a story. What a marvelous executive piece of drama that has been, and what he's done for Chrysler Corporation. Tom Brokaw with that special edition. Then Knight Rider and the Streets. New series, Jerry Orbach and Michael Beck as New York undercover policemen in the streets tonight on NBC.
Dick, observing the Los Angeles Raiders in the preseason, it's very apparent that they felt that they were just going to be able to get through that preseason, and then when it came to the regular season, they turn it on. Well, not quite true. It took them a full half to get to the switch, but here in the second half, they have indeed turned it on.
And it was the defense that hammered that switch open and made things more pleasant for Plunkett and company. Good job, Joe McCall, who has just carried for the first time in the NFL, and now the rookie from Pitt, unable to grab his first reception. He went to high school in Miami, nicknamed Do-It-All McCall for his versatility.
Raiders getting a few of those young players into the game. Again, the length of this game, the humidity here in the Astrodome, taking its weight on them. There are the numbers.
Yeah, the moon set at halftime in Houston.
Now, those are the second half. I was going to say they can't be the game numbers, because Plunkett's numbers for the first half very embarrassing. But certainly in the second half, he's paid big dividends.
Now, Moon knows he's just tried to pass against the best, perhaps, secondary in football, and that defensive line made things rather unpleasant, too, in the second half. Raymond Guy aiming one deep to Roaches and into the end zone on the touchback, and it comes with 1:57 remaining in the game. So there is the 2-minute warning. 52 yards on the kick, but only 32 net. Again, this year we're going to be treated to some of the most exciting finales from NFL history. They're called fantastic finishes. Here's one. Wind it down here in the Astrodome. The Super Bowl champion Raiders in front 24-7. We want to remind you that Super Sunday special on Lee Iacocca will be joined in progress with Knight Rider at its usual time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And of course, those of you Rocky Mountain and Western time zones will see the Sunday evening programming at its usual time. Final chance for Warren Moon and the Oilers from the 20-yard line. Moon, no offense in the second half. He's able to drill that one to his tight end, Chris Dressel, the H-back. A gain of about 10, and that almost equals his total offense of this half. Well, let's go back. We said at the start, Merlin, the Raiders, Super Bowl champions, the team to beat again this year. What's your feelings now after game one?
Well, they certainly haven't been world beaters in this game, but they didn't have to be. And they started slowly, but in the second half, they've shown us the same kind of dominant forces that they were able to get through the season with last year. I haven't seen anything today to convince me that they'll be anything other than champions this year.
We have the mark of a good team to win on a so-so day. This wasn't the best of the Raiders, but they still are going to win it convincingly. Moon in trouble again, and the play whistle dead. The sack will go to young Bill Pickel, the 260-pounder out of Rutgers. And for the Oilers, young, enthusiastic. They played with emotion the first half. A new quarterback, a new coach.
Well, we made it a David and Goliath story, and David didn't win the battle today, but I think made some believers. It's not going to be a turnaround that will take place in a week. But Coach Campbell, his staff, and a group of very young players, we said it earlier, they've got 33 guys with 3 years or less in the NFL. They have impressed me with their enthusiasm, their energy, and their talent. I think they're going to be a force in the future.
Second down for Moon. Down the middle and complete. Tim Smith, who knows how to get open, and that'll be a first down out at the 43 and time called, a 20-yard gain. Today's game has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. And by Federal Express Zap Mail. An exact copy delivered door to door in just 2 hours. 1 minute, 12 seconds left here in Houston. Let's check on things in the late Sunday night of this Labor Day weekend. Thank you, Bob Costas. Great job on NFL 84. We'll be looking forward to your pre-games all season long. First down for the Oilers at their 44. And Moon, Harris by Millen, and they will not call that grounding the ball. There was a white jersey close enough. Let's run down all the scores for you. Kansas City beat Pittsburgh 37-27. New England over Buffalo 21-17. Chicago 34, Tampa 14. Denver won 2017 over Cincinnati. The Jets won at Indianapolis 23-14. Atlanta upset New Orleans 36-28. Miami big at Washington 35-17. Giants edged the Philadelphia Eagles 28-27. Green Bay nipped St. Louis 24-23. The 49ers 30, Detroit 27, and San Diego walloped Minnesota 42-13. Those are all final scores. We're down to 107 left here in the Astrodome. The Raiders leading Houston 24-7. Tim Smith, an intended receiver for Moon.
We talked about a lot of the stories of the day. Certainly this young man, Warren Moon, one of those stories, and I'm not sure that this is the kind of debut he wanted into the NFL, but he certainly has been tested today against an outstanding defense, an outstanding opponent. He's shown us flashes of the kind of quarterbacking that brought so many titles to his Edmonton Eskimo team, and I believe he's going to be a great quarterback here in the NFL. The same things that made him do his magic for the Eskimos, I think, will allow him to pull it off down here, Dick.
Yeah, Joe Theismann made the transition, and it took a while for him, but now one of the true stars in the National Football League. Moon rifling it deep and caught. His first catch today, Mike McCloskey, the tight end from Penn State, at the 5-yard line, and with ease Moon threw that one 60 yards.
Well, that's one you go put down in your scrapbook, but not necessarily the prettiest pass in the world, in a sense that you've got 2 receivers on top of each other. Doesn't matter, though. It's complete. 3 defenders, 2 receivers, completion, and the Oilers have a chance to put a few points on the board before we wrap this one into history.
46 seconds left. McCloskey with a catch, 51-yard play, and Moon was close to 60 yards away, and on the run against his throwing arm, he delivered that pass.
He is strong and fast and a smart quarterback. He's handled himself well with his teammates here. He said, I have to earn their respect. he'll do that over the season, and I think it's going to be a big star in the NFL.
Well, there are a lot of NFL teams that are kicking themselves on this day. 334 picks were made in the '78 draft, and Moon was not one of them.
Well, he
took a chance.
So, well, there's a reason for that. He'd signed a contract already, Dick, and they realized that he was gone, but still probably should have taken him to have the rights.
Just to have
late
the round pick.
Yep.
Well, some of the fans from Edmonton, as you saw, are here to cheer for their former star. A lot of you folks up in Canada watching are rooting for Warren Moon to succeed. He's a fine young man. Over the middle and a touchdown. McCloskey, the man who caught the long pass, gets the score. Yeah, that'll make it a cosmetic touchdown for Moon, and the Oilers said no two-pointer on this one. Oh, there's a penalty flag. Only kidding, Warren. Up in the CFL, they might have gone for the two.
You certainly have to. You climb inside of the heads of the coaching staff of these Oilers. The most important thing for them today, realistically, I don't think they expected their team to win. They wanted to win. They had the confidence that there was a chance that they could win. They certainly played that way in the first half. But realistically, they wanted to come out and not embarrass themselves, show the kind of football that will keep them on keel, making progress into the season.
Florian Kemp from the University of Pennsylvania knocks through the extra point to make it 24-14. So Moon in his first NFL start unofficially. Ross Schneiderman, our statistician, has him 12 completions in 30 attempts, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Warren Moon. And we really didn't get a chance to appreciate his running talent as well. And I think when the Indianapolis Colts come in here for the game next Sunday, that they might be ready for Moon's versatility, because he's a solid runner as well. Executive producer of NFL Football on NBC is Michael Weisman. Coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. Game today was produced by Larry Cirillo and directed by Ted Nathanson. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Great coverage, starting with NFL 84 right on through this doubleheader day on NBC. Also want to thank Vernon Eschenfelder and Frank Priddy, our player identification experts. Sam Liederkrantz assisting Ross Schneiderman with the statistics.
Kemp's a fine kicker, Dick. You look at this roster and you want to put all the pieces together. Kemp is not a real power kicker, in a sense, doesn't kick the ball out of sight, but certainly has been consistent. I think inside the 40, a remarkable record, and he's one of the people that they're counting on this year to maybe win a couple of key ball games for him.
Interesting story. He did not play college football with the Quakers at Penn. He was a soccer star and played 3 years with the Philadelphia Fury in the professional soccer league, the NASL. Finally giving up that career, a family priest advised him, hey, go out and kick the football. I think you can make it in the NFL, which he indeed has accomplished. Little short chip shot, and fielded by Greg Pruitt, and he's down at the 25-yard line with 39 seconds left. Mike Kennedy, just acquired from the Buffalo Bills this past week, made the tackle. So for whatever reason, this game extremely long in duration. All the other first games tucked away in the scorebook, and some interesting upsets. Well, could it be a new America's team?
We might have to put some white hats on these guys.
Never will happen.
I'm afraid not.
Silver, yes, but the black and silver, that's part of the charisma of this Raider team. And now it'll all be marked after the 30, and it's all academic now. That was the final play of the game. And the Los Angeles Raiders, the Super Bowl champions, open with a 24-14 win. The defense certainly keyed the victory for the Raiders. They just stopped Houston cold in the second half, gave the offense great field position.
And after today, little will be remembered of the first half differences and the second half differences. There's a 1 under the W column for the Raiders and a 1 under the loss column for the Houston Oilers.
Now, Tom Flores, Super Bowl champions, have beaten Hugh Campbell's Oilers 24-14 here at the Astrodome in Houston. Dick Enberg for Merlin Olsen. Stay with us. We'll return in just a moment. Pat Martin and Warren Moon shaking hands. They're in the NFL now. They played on the same high school team, Hamilton High in Los Angeles. The Raiders have won by 10. Immediately following these local stations, messages, special edition, Summer Sunday, USA, Iacocca, an American Profile, except those of you in the Rocky Mountain and West Coast time zones.